There are so many options out there for desks for home offices, but sometimes it's hard to figure out which one to choose. Hi everyone, it's Carol from Discover Interior Design, and I'm so glad you're here. In this video, I'm going to give you some questions to think about so that you can figure out which desk to choose for your home office. So let's get started. So the first question you want to ask yourself is, where do you want to have your desk? And that is really just thinking about the location, which room or which area. And then more importantly, thinking about the specific placement for that desk. Do you want to have the desk in front of a wall or in front of a window or out in the room a little bit more? And you want to think about all of those different things because that's going to let you know what size of desk will work in that space. And then the second question to ask yourself is, what is your work style? What do you need to have on the top of the desk, on the work surface, so that you can do your work efficiently? Do you need to have room for a laptop or a desktop? And if you have a desktop, do you need to have one or two screens? And do you want to have a printer up there or space to have accessories like photos or a little vase of flowers? Or, space to make sure you can have a little container of pens and pencils and maybe a desk light and maybe even space for paperwork. So just to kind of think about that, how you like to work and what you need to include on the top of the work surface. And then the other part of your work style has to do with if you like to have things out on your desk and, easily accessible, or do you like to be able to have things put away? So, either during the day or at the end of the day that you can just put everything away and you don't see all of the work. So think about that. That will help you think about if you need storage or not. And when we're talking about the sizes of desks, there are 4 different measurements you want to keep in mind. The first one is the height. And in general, for a desk that you are going to sit on a chair and work in front of the desk, you are going to find desks around 30 inches high. And that's kind of a general height that most desks have. And it may, be a little bit lower or maybe even a little higher. But in general, 30 inches is kind of the standard. And, think about a dining room table. It's kind of that same height. And the other 2 measurements to keep in mind are the width and the depth. And of course, that all has to do with where you're going to place the desk and then what you want to include on the desk. And desks are available in a variety of widths and depths. And then the 4th measurement that you want to think about is all about clearance, which means what space you need around the desk. So we want to find out, the actual size of a desk and, the actual size that will fit in a specific area. But the other thing we need to always include in any type of furniture is space around the desk. So you'll need to make sure there's plenty of space in front of the desk for a chair or even when you're standing up, and also what space you may need around the sides, and then of course space that you would need in front of the desk. And so after you have collected all this information, where you're going to place the desk and what your work style is like, and so what you want to include on the desk or not, and how much space you need around the desk, then you can have enough information to get started to find a desk that will work for you. But what I would include for sure, no matter what kind of desk and what size of desk you get, there are a couple things that I would recommend always including with any type of desk. So one thing I would make sure to include would be a desk lamp or even a floor lamp next to your desk, just so that your work surface has plenty of light. And the other thing to think about is making sure that you are not getting any glare on your computer screen. So if you place your desk next to a window or even across from a window, you just want to make sure there's some way to filter out that light or even just change the location of your desk. And then I always recommend making sure to place your desk near an outlet. And then one thing that's kind of optional is to think about if you need a grommet hole in your desk. And so that's just one of those holes that a desk has where you can place all of your cords. And of course, that kind of depends on, if you just have wireless laptops and wireless printers, you don't really have to think about that. But, even for a lamp, it's nice to have just a little place for that cord to go. And so it kind of just keeps everything tidy. And then the other part that's super important to think about when we're setting up a work area is thinking about ergonomics. And what is ergonomics? Webster's dictionary defines it as an applied science concerned with designing and arranging things people use so that the people and things interact most efficiently and safely. So what does that mean when we're just talking about a desk for our home office? Well, what that means for us is that we want to make sure that the setup is comfortable as well as efficient. So how do we do that? One thing is, if you are going to use a chair, choosing a chair that is adjustable, that the height of the seat is adjustable and possibly the back and the arms. Because ideally, when you're sitting on your chair and you're working at your desk, you would like to have your feet touch the ground, and also that you can sit up straight in that chair and that you can easily rest your arms on the desk and also easily access a keyboard or to grab a pen or pencil, that everything is easily accessible. That means that you're not having to strain your back and bend over a lot or even strain your neck to look up higher or lower. And also, whether you have a chair or not, maybe you stand at your desk, you want to make sure that your computer screen is at eye level. And it's the same thing. You don't want to have to strain your neck up or down to be able to see the screen really easily. So ergonomics is super important to think about when we are setting up our home office. And then the third question to ask yourself is, what is your style? We can think about design style, and that's where you want to think about, do you want to have a modern style or a more traditional style of desk? Or, what finish or material would you like that desk to be made out of? And the fourth question to ask yourself is, well, what type of desk would you like? Because there's all these different types of desks that are out there that are available in modern or traditional styles, but they all offer, different types of storage or different types of looks. So for instance, there are desks out there that provide storage, so with drawers for you to put all your supplies in. And also there are desks out there that are a little bit more minimal, and they may have a little smaller drawer underneath the work surface, or maybe not have any drawers. It's very minimal. Or you can choose a desk that's maybe even larger. We could call it like an executive style desk where it's much deeper and wider. Or thinking about having two desks where you have an L-shaped work area that has two different desks, or what we refer to as a return desk. And even maybe having a desk that has wheels on it so you can move it around. And the other thing to think about, especially when you are going to place that desk out in the room or, perpendicular to a wall where you would see the front of the desk, is to think about having a desk that has a Modesty panel on it. And a Modesty panel really is just like a panel of wood or metal. It's always the same material usually as the desk is. And what that does, it just kind of covers up cords and equipment and just provides a nice clean look to your desk. So I just gave you a couple questions to ask yourself when you are looking for a desk for your home office. But I would love to find out from you what else you thought about when you decided on which desk to choose. So please share your design ideas and suggestions in the comments. Thanks so much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Take care.